Bonjour everyone and welcome to my channel The Waves of Your Soul. My name is Maureen, I'm a French tarot reader, and today, as the title of the video suggests, we're gonna be doing a little or quite substantial deck haul. I actually have I've got about 8 decks to show you, tarot and oracle decks mixed together, because two things. First thing is, there was so many delays with my orders from 2020 with the pandemic. The fact that I live in the middle of the Indian Ocean on a tiny little island means that there has been months and months of delay for some of the stuff that I've ordered. Some things got lost, they got sent back to me, etc. And also in the month of May, I wasn't feeling very good, so I did a little bit of retail therapy, which I know is not necessarily a healthy way to cope, but we've all done it, so let's not just throw the stone to me. I think we can all relate that sometimes, it can help a little bit. So there's a bit of both here, and I wanted to share them with you today because I really enjoy seeing what other fellow tarot lovers use. I enjoy seeing why a deck resonates with certain people, and so hopefully you'll find some inspiration or some fun in watching the cards I got. Now, this is in no shape or form me trying to tell you what to buy. Like I said, I'm just sharing my passion, so I'll put all the names of the decks I'm showing in the description box below, and I hope you'll enjoy those with me. Those are not full-on reviews, they will be more first impressions. I haven't actually had a full-on chance to work with all the decks, but don't worry, I will be sharing more in-depth of my personal experiences with the decks later on in the year. Once I've worked with them fully, I'll probably show them in my favorites, or you'll see them at work in my future readings, considering I do pick a card readings, monthly readings, and all of that. Make sure to check that out. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out a chance to see all of those decks in action. Now, before I actually get into the video, I want to say a huge thank you, because I've noticed that we've passed the bar of 500 subscribers, and for me it's a lot. And I'm so grateful, because I really honestly did not think I would reach 500 people. 500 people is like a whole plane full of people, right? Like when you take the plane, I swear there must be 500 people in big planes, and that's a lot of people. And so I'm so humbled and grateful that there's so many of you watching my videos, liking and commenting. I'm so grateful to everyone who takes the time to like and comment, and I just wanted to say thank you. I'm really grateful. So without further ado, a huge thank you, and let's get into today's video. Okay, so the first two decks I wanted to show are part of the same family because they've been made by the same artist, and the artist's franchise name is called Copper Rabbit Illustrations, and I believe this artist is based either in Canada or America. I would have to double check. They are indie oracle decks. Now, this specific one here is actually very limited edition because she produced it about a year or two ago as part of a drawing challenge where she was drawing an image for 30 days of the month, and so she released the images she did, and so she's got a very limited number of decks available. So I'm not 100% sure that by the time I film the video they will still be available on her website. If not, you'd have to go on secondhand shops like eBay and Facebook trading groups, etc. This one though is a recent release, and so you'll definitely be finding it on her website directly, and I'll put the link below. Okay, so this one is called literally just Copper Rabbit Illustrations Oracle deck, and it is a fairy tale theme oracle. It comes with a little guide, like with keywords, and then she also sent some really cute stickers, which I was so grateful for. Look at those, they're so nice. And she sent me a little thank you card, and so I think the full name of the deck is called the Inktober Oracle deck, and like I said, I'm not sure this will be still there will still be a lot of them out there, so have a look either on her website or on the trading groups, etc. But I still wanted to share them with you here in case she's got some left, and I really fell in love with this imagery, so I wanted to share it. Let me put that here. So the theme of this deck is that it is a fairy tale inspired deck. There's 30 cards and it's full-on fantasy, literally my fantasy dreams. I saw this deck and I was like, my inner child was screaming because it was reminding me of all the Grimm stories and all those very like European fairy tale stories, which are the stories I grew up being, you know, French. It's all the stories that I grew up. So we have the woodsman referring to Red Little Riding Hood, and you know, there's like some witches in there, evil ones and good ones. There's like a castle, there's dark forest, and so she provides you with a couple of keywords, but mostly it's meant to be used very intuitively. And I've played with this deck. I received it this week, so I haven't had it for a long time, but I've played with it in the last few days and it really sings to me. It is very intuitive, even just from the images, the keywords, I get so much out of it. It's very witchy. I love this queen card and I think you can do so much with it, and I can't wait to be using this in like pairing with my more fantasy decks, or even with my very classical decks like the RWS, for example, or the Marseille Waite, but to give it a bit of a fantasy twist, you know. I'm a lover of anything fantasy. I love fantasy books. I love young adult fantasy. I just love everything that happens in like another world. If there's like magical powers or witches or fairies or anything like that, then you can sign me up because I'm here. The other deck that I got from the same artist is her most recent purchase, her most recent release. Is that it? Yeah, I purchased it, she released it. Sorry. So it's called the Dream Symbol Oracle deck. It is still by Copper Rabbit Illustrations. And look at the card, like this is an indie artist. I think the production quality is great. It comes in a sturdy box. And again, you get a little pamphlet on paper with keywords. And also, if you totally undo it, you get a spread in the middle, which is cool. And now this one, as the name would suggest, is more inspired by dreams, dream interpretation. However, you can use it as a regular oracle deck as well. So as you're gonna see, this is very much witchy inspired, you know, still got that magical feel. It's still in order because I haven't actually played with this one yet, but you'll see a lot of themes that you might see in dreams. So for example, you will see things like chased. That's a great one. I don't know, I'm sure almost all of us have had nightmares when we've been chased, right? And what's funny is that most of the time we don't even know what's chasing us. And every time I turn back in my dreams to see what's chasing me, I always wake up. So there's something there for sure, something to explore. That's personal mental note. You've got the child. Actually, this looks like Alice in Wonderland, I think. You've got death. There's a dog card. This one is so creepy, but I love it. Doppelganger. I don't know how you say it, but there we go. Empty room. So, you know, it's definitely got a mix between light and shadow. Falling, that's another dream we've all done, like falling and flying. I feel like we've done those. They're pretty common theme. But it's not just dream themes. There we go, the flying card. There's also a lot of, you know, more your general like oracle cards kind of theme, like the guides and fish and fire and things like that. But as you can see, this deck is not love, light, glitter, sparkles and unicorns, although I've got nothing against that, and sometimes we all need that good dose of positive vibes. It does have some more hard-hitting cards, and I appreciate that in a deck, especially, you know, in my oracle decks, because I find tarot to be so balanced that I need my oracle decks to be balanced as well. And I love where she takes me, that I get to escape with everything that she creates. It feels very whimsical and still very powerful. Look at this card. My grandmother used to say that, you know, I don't know, it's something we say in French, that dream of losing their teeth, it means that someone is gonna die. That's like a very old thing that French, you know, French grandmothers and grandfathers used to say. Let me know if it's applicable to your country where you live, because I remember when I was little, I dreamt that my teeth were falling out and I was scared shitless for 2 weeks because of what my grandma told me. And then guess what? Nobody died. So thanks, Grandma. That was like a necessary scare, fright right there. But let me know if that's just French or if you say that in your countries as well. And I love this warrior because she gives me Jeanne d'Arc vibes, so Joan of Arc, which is cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. You can use it for dream interpretation. You can use it for divination, almost like a Lenormand, because the cards are quite small, but you know, you could make your own divination system, or you could just use it for, like, you know, intuitive pulls, pairing it with oracle decks. I'm really excited to be playing with this one. Okay, next up is actually a mass market deck, which is Wisdom for Healing cards, 50 Lessons in Personal Empowerment by Caroline Myss. I got this one on Book Depository, and it's one of those that I ordered like months, like at this point maybe even a year ago, and it just took so long to get to me. But I'm actually really glad it finally came. I kind of had forgotten about it, and it turned out, I think, at the perfect time, because of course the universe knows what it's doing, and it arrived exactly when I needed it, because if you've watched my recent, I don't know what order I'll be posting those, but if you watch my recent May favorites, then you know that the month of May was a bit tricky for me health-wise. And this being Wisdom for Healing cards, very much focused on healing, it arrived at the perfect time. So I have used this deck the last week or couple of weeks that I've had it, and it's just a really easy to use oracle deck, because all focused around healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Every card you get a message with a image, and then you get your lesson of the day with at the back of the card. So let's pull one and see what we need to heal, and I can give you an example of the messages. So what do we need to heal? And we have Dare to be creative, beautiful, and I just really love the imagery as well. I think it's really sweet. So it says, today's lesson, think about all the creative ideas that come to you in one day. How many do you dismiss as trivial or unproductive? Healing requires impractical and daring creativity. Your goal, to observe how you respond to your own creative voice. Are you receptive or self-critical? Beautiful. So this one, you know, it's very direct. It gives you an action or a journaling prompt or something to think about that's always focused around healing. What I really appreciate about this deck is that it's got a healing energy, so you know, I really need that at the moment. And don't we all, girl? I feel like with everything that's happened in 2020 and 2021, this should be sent to everyone for free by the universe to help us cope with everything that's happened. I appreciate the fact that it's diverse in terms of ethnicity. There's some a bit older beings, I feel like, which is nice. I love the fact that it also has, again, shadow and light, so releasing the need to complain. How beautiful and poetic is that? Like releasing those birds from the heart chakra. I really love that. And so I've been really loving this deck. I think it asks important questions that sometimes when you're on the path to healing, or you're trying to heal something particularly, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or physically, there are important questions to ask ourselves, like in what way are we standing in our way of healing? In what way are we sabotaging ourselves? In what way are we not being our best friends? And in what way can we help, push us towards feeling healthier all round? So I really like this one. I think it'll pair beautifully with so many tarot decks, and I'll let you know, but I'm sure this is going to be a favorite for next month. I already can tell, because it's already helped me a lot. Okay, next up we have the soul cards too. So soul cards, I feel like, are so well known amongst the tarot and oracle community. This deck has been around for a long time. I don't know when, but you know, I'd say maybe early 2000s or something, or maybe 2010. And there's two packs. So I got Soul Card 2, but of course, you know, you could buy both version and just, I've seen people put them all together and make one huge chunky deck, which I love the idea of, and I might do eventually. But I wanted to try them because they've been on my wish list for so long. You know, the kind of decks that is on your wish list for ages, and you just never bite the bullet because you know that they're gonna be there for a while, so you don't have to rush to get them. You don't get the, you know, urge, compared to like indie decks where you don't know if they're gonna be reprinted. This, I knew it was gonna be around for a while, so it was sitting on my wish list for so long, and I finally bit the bullet, and I'm so glad I did. So the Soul Cards 2 come in this packing. I believe Soul Cards 1 have the same, but in blue. And the premise of this deck is that it doesn't have any keywords, and so it's meant to purely use your intuition and let you explore your subconscious, your dreams, and really let go of any preconceived keywords, meanings, just telling your brain to fuck off, which I really need to tell my brain to fuck off sometimes, and just letting your intuition do the talking. And I really wanted this experience because I really wanted to see what my intuition could get me from just pure art. I find art and drawings to be really exciting. You can get a lot from the images, you can get a lot from the colors. There's so much you can do with this deck, and this deck feels very channeled for me. It reminds me of the Shimmering Veil, so I'm gonna try and pair them together and see how it works. I have not used this deck yet because I've got a special plan for this, is that I want to pull one card a month for the next month, one card a day, sorry, for the next month at night, and I want to journal about what the card reminds me of, my experiences, my memories, and I want to see how it kind of helped me to journal, because to be honest, I've kind of been not as good as I used to be with journaling. I've lost the love of it a little bit, and so I thought that would be a great way for me to get back with it if I have a visual prompt, if I have something that doesn't have any keyword and that just allows me to let my imagination and my intuition loose. I think this is my favorite card of the deck. Trust me to love anything with like bones and skulls. Which is why we have our little friend here actually. This is my tiger's eye crystal skull. I love him, and he's he's gonna spend the rest of the video with us, keeping us company. He doesn't talk back, which is nice. Anyway, so I've been really looking forward to work with this deck, and I shall let you know more in my future videos. Okay, next up we have a very, very special tarot deck, and now I need to start this small presentation by premising that currently this deck is out of print and that I'm not even sure it will ever be reprinted. I had to wait 2 years for this deck to be in my hands between the time of me discovering it and getting it, because it's an indie deck, but it was released firstly I think about 2 years ago in a very, very limited print. I missed it off, and by the time I was aware of it, I couldn't find it anywhere. And then this artist, so it was sorry, I should start by saying it's called Soul Shadow Tarot. It is by Yena, and Ronin Panda is the artist. Yena has a tarot channel on YouTube called Soul Shadow Tarot, which is one of my favorite channels to watch. She talks a lot about being a medium, and she does wonderful tarot readings, and she talks about her spirituality and everything, and she's just great. And she released this specific deck, like I said, about 2 years ago, very small printing. And then she released some, again, very small limited numbers this year, and I think she said that's it. She's not gonna do it anymore because there's some copyright issues, because this deck is based on pop culture. So there's a lot of, as you see, for example, characters from Disney and everything, so there are some copyright problems that could arise if she was to release it full-blown wide world. So if you fall in love with this deck like I did, troll eBay, troll Facebook trading groups, it might be expensive, I'm not gonna lie to you, but you never know, right? I found some really great gems on eBay and on Facebook, etc. You just have to be patient, and you just have to, manifest the shit out of it and hope that one day the universe will show you a good copy. It's happened to me before with some other decks. You might have to wait a few years, but it can happen. Like I said, this is a deck that's really rooted in pop culture. This is something that I really resonate with, and I've really loved the choices that Yena made. So, we have, it's a French deck, so we have 9 of Cups, he's a genie. There are characters from Marvel, so for example here with the 8 of Cups, it's, I forgot her name now, people are probably shouting it, Harley Quinn, there we go. I'm sure someone was shouting at me through the screen being like, come on, you should know that. We have Hermione Granger as a daughter of swords, sorry. And so as you can see, this deck is totally like off-piste with, traditional RWS imagery. Yena just decided to choose what resonates with her, what speaks to her in terms of archetype and pop culture, and it turns out that I resonate with most of the choices she made, which is why I really wanted this deck. So 2-pack is the Knight of Swords, which I think is perfect. So as the Ace of Swords, we have Ragnar Lothbrok from the TV show Vikings, you know, because if you watch Vikings, you know that he was the first one who wanted to go explore Europe, and so it's that Ace of Swords spark inspiration idea. The magician is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so Steve Jobs is the King of Pentacles. As you can see, there's just a lot of, you know, modern day people we know, characters we know, rooted in day-to-day life. And I absolutely love that. I think she's done a fantastic job at rooting tarot in reality. And I agree with most of the choices she made, which is rare. There's a couple of cards I don't enjoy with this deck. One of them is a Tower card, is the Twin Towers. Honestly, I'm just bored by now of the Tower card being the Twin Towers, and I know it is a problematic card for so many people, and I totally can appreciate that, especially, you know, if you have, you know, personal ties to that event. So that's the one I'm not a fan of, but other than that, overall it's a really good one. We have the Queen of Pentacles as Oprah. You get a tarot deck, and you get a tarot deck, and you get a tarot deck. Justice is Yoda, which is great. And I'll leave you on one more. Queen of Wands is Mulan. Let me see if I can find one of my favorite cards. Oh yeah, so this Nine of Wands is you know, from the movie Up. I love that movie so much. I cry every time I watch it, and I think that's a very good representation. Let me see if I can find another one of my favorite cards. The Daughter of Cups is Alice in Wonderland, which I think is very appropriate. And the Lovers as Beauty and the Beast I thought was very intelligent. I mean, I think the Beauty and the Beast is a very good representation of that journey of learning to love someone or yourself for who you are, right? For going below the surface. And the Ten of Swords is Darth Vader. So really good deck. If you can find it, I hope you can find it if you want it, because I'm so happy to have it. Okay, moving on to my next tarot deck I wanted to share. It is the Deviant Montero by Patrick Valenza, the Borderless edition. Now this is a mass market deck. It's been out for a long time. This was part of my wish list with the soul cards. You know, been on my wish list for years, and just like never really bit the bullet, because there was always another deck that came first, and you know, that kind of fear of missing out on the new indie decks that kind of stopped me from getting it, until one day I just thought, you know what, I really need to give this deck a chance. So I'm sure a lot of you know it, but you know, here are the backs, and like I said, I've got the Borderless edition, and this is by US Games, so should be fairly affordable on any of your Amazon and book dispository. And this deck is funny because, as you can see, the artwork is very quirky, unique, bit creepy, I'm not gonna lie. The very first time I saw this deck was at the very beginning of my tarot journey, and I think I saw this card, and I was like, hell no, not today, Satan. Something about it repulsed me with this literally strength I can't even tell you. I couldn't even look at it. I was like, there was something about it that just really, it was like sandpaper to my soul. But at the time, I didn't know that usually when that happens, it's a sign of the universe that you need to go deep, because it's probably that there's something there for you to explore. Of course, I wasn't ready then. Then I started seeing more people talk about the deck, and more recently I saw this particular death card, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I think this death card is so powerful, it's so gut-wrenching, and there's something really strong that happens. And that was really the key to me, to be like, you know what, Noreen, you need to get over yourself and, you know, give it a go, give this deck a go. So the imagery, I think this is a real Marmite deck. Some people love it, some people hate it. Like I said, when I first was starting tarot, I was like, couldn't even look at it. It was giving me the heebie-jeebies, I just couldn't. Now I've definitely learned to be okay with it, to appreciate it, and from flicking through it, it's still in order, I haven't worked with it, but from just flicking through it and seeing all the representations, I'm realizing how smart this deck is. I love how it's depicting the different archetypes in a way that I've never seen anywhere else. It's making me already, just flicking through the card, looking at tarot cards that I thought I kind of knew inside out in a different way. It's giving me some fresh perspective, and I really needed that, you know. I believe we're always learning, we can always learn something new, and I think this deck is definitely going to teach me to look at my cards differently, so I'm very much looking forward to working with it. I've heard some people say it's not as dark as it looks. Like, some people say it's actually very empowering, and I can sense that. I can definitely sense that it's going to be an interesting journey, so I'll let you know how I get on with this. Okay, next deck is another mass market tarot deck, and it's a Muse Tarot by Chrisanne. Chrisanne, you might know her from the Light Seers Tarot, and I think she's done another deck, which is an oracle deck called Sacred Creators Oracle, which is prompts for creative journaling and stuff like that. I don't have that one, so I don't know. The Light Seers is one of my favorite decks. This is one of those that I ordered like in 2020, and it only came to me now. And you know what? Again, I believe everything happens for a reason, so the fact that it only arrived recently means that maybe before I wasn't ready to work with it, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated it, or maybe I just need that extra creative push right now. And because this deck is full on around the muses, creativity, inspiration, you know, it's probably arrived at the perfect timing for me. So this is a Hay House deck. You get a guidebook, you get, you know, the box is beautiful, the cardstock is really nice, it's a matte cardstock. You know, Hay House is doing a really great job for tarot decks. These are the backs, which I absolutely love, and I'm totally gonna edge the sides pink, and I can't wait. So this is a collage deck. And it is, I'm sure you've seen this one quite a lot. It's been out for a while now, and you know, like I said, it took its sweet ass time to come to me, but I'm really excited to work with it. I really enjoy the fact that it's purely focused around the idea of creativity. So she has renamed the suits. So we have inspiration for wands, we have emotions for cups, we have voices for the swords, and we have materials for the pentacles. But it makes sense, like I don't mind the renaming because I can totally get it. What's also unique about this, look at this desk card first of all. I love this one so much, it's gorgeous. So another thing that's very unique about this deck is that all the kings are a landscape shape, which I know can bother some people, but I don't mind. I think it's, you know, I don't mind, because it's just like one card per suit. Let me try and find an example. So the kings have been renamed as muses, and they're all shaped like this. You know, you have to show them this instead of this. But I don't mind. And as you can see, this deck is very colorful. It's got a lot going on in terms of colors, geometric shapes, layers. It's got a lot. Visually, it feels very stimulating, and of course this is the aim. This deck is all about the muses, about finding inspiration, but look at the contrast between those two. I think Chrisanne has done a fantastic job at really depicting the work of light and shadow, and you know, I really appreciate that. The one downfall of the deck, I will say, for me, is that it feels a bit body beautiful. There's only female presenting persons in this deck, and they all seem to be quite slim, you know, and very like magazine cover, which could be an issue. And so, you know, maybe a little bit more body diversity would have been appreciated. But in terms of the impact it has visually, I am really looking forward to working with it, and I think it's gonna be super interesting to do readings focused around creativity, inspiration, and maybe even for chakra readings, because there's just so many colors going on. It could be interesting. So this is the Muse Tarot by Chrisanne. Okay, finally we have a very special oracle deck by a French artist called Linné in the Moon, and this deck is an indie oracle, and I absolutely adore it. I've received it a few days ago, and I really wanted to showcase it because, you know, I'm always there gonna be repping the French artists, the French creators. I'm French myself, so I always like to shout out anyone who is French, who's creating something. It is called Mystic Healing Oracle by Linné in the Moon, and Oh, I just love Line. We've exchanged on Instagram and by email, and she's just such a nice person. So she actually included some cards, and she even included in my parcel a little zine that she made, which is really cool. I think she's a really beautiful soul and really beautiful person. So, you know, that makes the deck even more special in my eyes. And I really appreciate her art, her kindness, and the way that she, you know, sees the world and what she depicted here. So the deck comes with little cards that translate French words into English and Spanish. So, for example, here you've got passé in French is past and pasado. So, you know, even though the keywords are in French, you can use the images and the little cards here to help you, as well as you get a digital guidebook when you order the deck that she sends to you by email. So, you know, you've got everything you need to work with it. The way the deck is built is that the first cards, I think 12 or 13, are mothers of, and they are feminine archetypes. And so you've got the mother of corn, the mother of milk, the mother of fire, the mother of bees, the mother of water, the mother of the just word, the healing mother, the mother of air, etc., right? And the love mother. So you get different mothers that are feminine archetype that you could almost use separately as a little goddess deck or a little archetype deck, you know, whatever resonates with you. And then the remainers of the card are your other, you know, illustrated oracle cards. And there's definitely a very poetic sense to Line's art. So it's a mixed media deck. Here are the backs, by the way, which I really love. I love this. It looks like an eye, but also a spiral. It's very cool backings. I love them. And like I said, so this is a mixed media deck, and it's very powerful. And you know, it's called the Mystic Healing, and it's not for... It carries its name really well, I think. This deck is very deep. You have some very deep hitting cards, and I appreciate that. I think this deck will be really good for any kind of healing journey, any kind of communicating with your guides, any spiritual work, ancestral work, shadow work. I think this one will be great. You can of course do divination with it, as it's got a good balance of keywords, but this one hits deep, you know. So here we have rebirth, taking care, loss. So as you can see, a good balance between light and shadow. I'm not gonna bang on about it, but I appreciate that. We have the past, Pachamama, Mu, manipulation. This deck just hit me in the feels. I don't know what it is, it just really resonates with me. I think it's a mix between the imagery, the work that she's done, between painting, collage, etc., and the choice of the keywords. This particular card feels very special to me, this initiation card with this like Merlin type being. I really, you know, based from experiences I had with my meditations, this one hit close to home. So I really can't wait to get to know this deck more. I think it's beautiful. There's a couple of cards which are sideways. Again, like I said, I don't mind. I know sometimes people find that bothering, but for me, it really is not a problem. I love this one actually. It's one of my favorite card flow. We have another one here, Explore. Beautiful. So this deck is gorgeous. I really recommend you checking Line's website if you want to get it. It's gorgeous. So this is what I've got to show you for today. I think we had about 8 decks, Oracle and Tarots, Indie and Mass Market. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Then please don't hesitate to leave my video a like, commenting below letting me know which one was your favorite, or if there's anything you've purchased recently that you really enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe for any more upcoming videos so you don't miss out to see the deck being used in my future readings and my future videos. And until next time, as per usual, please take care of yourself. I'm sending you lots and lots of good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul.